Okay.
Hey, everybody. It is Thursday evening. We are coming to you at a special time. Just making, oops, I think I just lost Shelly. So Shelly will be right back. That's pretty funny. I'm Debbie Weitl. I am your migraine health coach specialist, here to help you get to the end of your migraines, figure out what that root cause is, what is causing them, so that you can stop using all of those quick fixes, stop using the pills, and be able to find your migraine freedom and have that for life. And Shelly made it back. Amazing. So we'll let her connect. We'll let her get organized. I'm just going to double check Facebook here. Catherine, thanks for coming on. So when you ladies jump on, do me a favor, let me know where you're watching from. We got you back. Perfect, Shelly. You just have to unmute yourself.
Sorry about that.
No problem. I was just doing my intro, so it was perfect timing. We have Catherine watching. We have Jamie watching. Thank you, ladies. So again, tell me where you're watching from so that we know who is on this evening. And Jamie, I think I'm going to see you shortly at 7 o'clock for the challenge. We have a busy night tonight, so we'll get right to it. So Shelly is joining us. Shelly, thank you for being here today.
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. Shelly is a graduate of the Freedom from Migraine method. She is happily married for 30 years. Me too, Shelly, at 30 years as well. Awesome. She has 2 grown, successful daughters. You're empty nester with your husband. Me too. Mine are 26 and 22. So you thought you should get a dog. I love that. So you got your sweet dog Murphy. Is Patches with me? Oh, he's not. Usually my partner in crime is behind me. We're so thankful we have the dog, so the house isn't so quiet. But Shelly, you've been a teacher for 30 years, currently teaching 1st grade. My goodness. So you are on the go all day and in the classroom all day. Shelly is not a massive hobby person, but does enjoy watching sports, shopping, and spending time with family and friends. Well, I would say those are amazing hobbies. I like those hobbies.
Me too. Too much sometimes.
I was just going to say, let me see. Do you like shoes and handbags like I do?
Yes, yes. Downfall, those shoes. They never change sizes.
Yeah, well, at least you have somewhere to go with them. I sit in this chair, so when I buy shoes now, it doesn't really do me much good anymore. Anyway, Shelly, again, thank you for being here. So we are here tonight to talk about Shelly's migraine freedom journey experience, and specifically to talk about medications, because I would say probably 80% of the women in the Women's Migraine Freedom Group right now are using medications to try to manage their migraines in the hopes that, they're going to go away. And I think most of you know it's not working too well. And that's why you're here. So we're going to give you a little insight on Shelly's journey with medications. So let's start, Shelly, if you don't mind, with when did you start taking medications for migraines, and just give us a little background on that.
Okay. I finally went to the doctor in like 2000. So it's about 20 some years ago. And yeah, because my migraines just kind of continued to increase. I thought they were just hereditary because my mom has them. My older sister had them. When I first started getting them, they were just mostly around my cycle. So I'm like, oh, it's just that time of the month I get it, and just dealt with them. But then they just kind of continue to increase. And so I'm like, I just went to my family physician. I'm like, this is what's happening. And so we tried some preventive medication. Like I've tried blood pressure pills. I've tried muscle relaxers. If you listed a bunch of them, I probably could tell you, yes, I tried those. I tried to go look back at my chart to see if I could find them. Like, oh my God, I've tried like everything. I can't even I can't even come up with all of the names that I've tried. Nothing, like I said, they would work for a while and then not long. And then I'd like, oh, that's just another Band-Aid. So then when I'd go back 6 months later, like, oh yeah, I still have the migraines. Let's try this pill. I'm like, okay. And so then we try another pill. And so, yeah, I was just always feeling like I was just putting a Band-Aid on top of my migraines and could never figure out, like, why am I getting them? No, like, now this isn't around my period. So it can't be this, it can't be hormonal. It's what did I eat? I seriously did think about food, but then not long enough. um, so yeah, it was just constantly a new med every time you'd go to the doctor. And
So
it
have you been
just, yeah.
taking meds? Were you taking them like almost every day for the last 20 years?
Oh yeah. One type or the other. Yes. I mean, like I was like, okay, well, the amitriptyline isn't working. Let's try this. So then we would, I would go to a different med. So then you'd like, and if you'd get two at a time, then you never knew really what was working. It's like, oh, well, you could try this for your migraine when you get one, and then try this, take this every day so you don't get migraines. Well, like I said, it lasted for a short period. So I can't say that they're all negative, but it didn't last long term.
Absolutely. And I think you made a really good point, and I want to make sure I always emphasize when we talk about medications. First off, if anyone's watching this, please, after you're done watching this, don't just go stop taking medication. If we give you a bad taste about meds, that is not what we're here to talk about. I am not anti-medication at all. What I am is anti-medication for life, unless it is a pill that is replacing something that your body can no longer make. So for example, if you're someone who's type 1 diabetic and you need insulin, of course you have to take insulin. If you don't, you're going to die. Or if you're someone who has their thyroid ablated, you have to take thyroid medication. You have to replace that. But Shelly doesn't have an amitriptyline deficiency. There's no such thing, or a blood pressure deficiency. So the problem arises when a doctor keeps giving you all those pills, Shelly, right? Every time, instead of saying, here's your pill. I want you to take this for 6 months, but I want you to go home and work on X, Y, and Z so that hopefully when you come back, we can get you off that pill. Was there ever any conversation like that you should go do anything in between?
No. It was never, it was just, here, try this pill. Okay. Yeah. Try this pill. Oh, okay. Well, that didn't work either.
Exactly. So, yeah. And all those meds, some of them can work. I know there's many. Do me a favor, if you're watching right now and you're taking a medication that actually helps you end your migraines, let me know in the comments, because there are many meds like triptans, for example. When I first started taking triptans, oh my God, I thought it was Christmas. You'd take one and within like 20 minutes, I'm like, oh my God, the migraine's gone. But the migraine wasn't really gone. The pill was covering up the pain. The migraine was still there, right? So the meds that we're taking in this group right now, they can be great to help you manage that pain, but they're not getting to the end of the pain. So you did that for 20 years, Shelly. And then what happened? Why did you decide that this was really something you were just done doing?
Yes. Well, once I figured out how this whole threshold thing works, that made so much more sense. When we would, my husband's from Montana. And so when we go to Bozeman, and never failed, I'd have a migraine every single day. And well, I could tell you all why I got them. You were drinking, you were staying up late, we were eating awful, just, and we were having a great time.
Until the migraine.
Exactly. But then so the next day I'm like, oh, pop another Imatrix. I just had one. I had a migraine every day, but I'm like, we're on vacation. I can't not participate with everything that they're doing. And when we came home, then I was just on Facebook, and this group, you popped up and was interviewing someone else, I think. And I'm like, I need to look a little more into this, because I just spent 5 days taking more than 5 Imatrix to get through a vacation. And I'm like, this is just dumb. I'm like, I just kind of had it. I think everyone gets to their breaking point. Yeah. And I was there. I mean, yes, have I been on vacations? I've had migraines before. Yes, I wasn't at that breaking point. And I finally hit it. I'm like, I can't keep doing this. So I reached out to you, and I'm like, how can you help? Yes, tell me more.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, that everyone has a right time for them. They have to be ready, because obviously this, when you and I work together, it is work, as you and I were discussing before we jumped on this call, that, it's not some magic wand that we can wave and, have everything be perfect. So you did a lot of work and you put work into it, but it can happen. It can be done.
It can be.
It's doable. Yeah. And you have to be ready to do that work, because if you're not ready, you're not going to be able to do it.
Exactly.
So tell me, I just wanted to go back to the meds just for 1 second about when you were taking them. I know when I took them, I found that, yes, they did help and do a little bit, but I also found that I had a ton of side effects from them. How did you feel when you were taking the meds? Did you find that they, were okay, this worked and it's okay? Or
Um, I don't remember which med it was. I can't even think, but I had gained a lot of weight. So that was a huge side effect. I'm like, that is not working well for me. And just, the puffiness and, but also like when I don't really recall any of the side effects from all of the meds, but when I do have to take my Imatrix, my foggy brain is so out of control. Like
Mhm.
I take them, but I'm like, it's a good 2 hours afterwards that I'm like, yeah, I'm really not sure what I'm doing. I just feel foggy. And I always thought that was a funny thing. I never thought it was a real thing. And I'm like, yeah, it's a real thing. And it's hard. I have a hard time even speaking after taking a med like that. And just, the thoughts aren't coming, that I just don't speak complete sentences like I think I am, and it just doesn't come out. So yeah, definitely some side effects of things.
Absolutely. And everyone is a little bit different. So what I'm about to say obviously is going to be very general, but that is very common for Imitrex, having
Mhm.
that extreme feeling of fogginess afterwards. And for some people, it actually lasts 24 hours. But
Yeah.
some of the other major consequences from some of these meds, which I'm not sure that doctors talk to women enough, because these women are in pain. So you want the med. So I don't think you care about listening to the side effects at that point. I know I didn't. I mean, if the doctor had given
Yeah.
me a list of side effects, I would have been, that's fine. Where's my prescription? And can you call it into the pharmacy for me so I can pick it up immediately when I get there? But
Absolutely.
constipation is a huge one. So if there's anyone
Ah,
watching this right now, I'm sure you probably don't want to admit in the comments that you have constipation, but if you do, let me know, because if anyone watching this has constipation, that is typically from a lot of the preventative medications. Not so much the abortives, it can be with long-term use of the abortives, but for many of the preventatives. And whenever we have constipation, we have toxicity. When we have toxicity, we have inflammation, which is at the root to all migraines. So, if you're taking a med to try to end your migraine, but that med is causing constipation, guess what we're doing? We're causing a migraine. Might as well not be taking the med. Again, please do not anyone stop taking their meds tomorrow. There is a process and a way to stop doing this the right way. But it is important to know that we have to weigh the pros and cons when we take medications, because there is a price to be paid for them. So let's fast forward. You had that 20 years of no fun with your doctors, with taking all these meds. You found us. When you were starting the program, can you explain what your migraines were like when you started, and then how you're feeling today?
yes. Well, actually, I remember when we were talking, Debbie, and you were telling me about your migraines, and I'm like, I'm not near as bad. I don't have them every day. I'm not bedridden. And when I started the group, I'm like, oh my God, those guys are really sick. And I'm like, I'm not that bad. So then I'm thinking, what have I done? But I'm like, but then as I was learning, I'm like, no, 2 migraines a week is too many.
Yeah.
I mean, we all have our severities of our migraines. We all have different, amounts of them. So I probably had anywhere between 2 and 4 a week. And now I just looked at my calendar before we got on here, and I haven't had a migraine for 5 weeks. The last one I had was 5 weeks ago. And I know my trigger. I know what I did wrong. So it was a win. I mean, I was able to take care of it, but they have just decreased in frequency and the level of migraine that they are. And like I used to get them, and it would be boom, it'd be an 8, 9, like I am in pain. And now their low levels, 1, 2, and 3s, and that's, yeah. So they have just decreased tremendously.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I love how you say the one that you got 5 weeks ago, you know what you did.
Mhm.
And it's not that you made a mistake. We won't use that word, or you did something wrong, but you know what you did. And that's really the key thing, is to be able to be aware and then make a course correction so that, you can make a choice to have it not happen again.
Exactly.
And thinking that you started with 2 to 4 on meds, and
Yeah.
now you're not taking the meds unless, absolutely necessary,
Right.
and not getting the migraines. So when you think about it that way, it's like a double win. You've given your body this gift of getting all of these toxins out of you, allowing it to heal itself, which it will continue to do for months and months and months without those meds. And it's amazing, all the work that you put in, and how you feel.
I feel so much better, and I'm not taking any meds for migraines. I have 3 meds that I'm taking that are prescribed, but for different reasons, thyroid, and a couple other ones. But yeah, I feel like myself again. Like yeah, I have way more energy. I just feel clear, and it's just amazing. Like I was telling you earlier, I'm like, I feel like you just saved me, because I'm like, I was just on a roller coaster from one med to another, or let's see, oh, go to the chiropractor, oh, do some more physical therapy. And don't get me wrong, they've both been very helpful in my journey, but I was just constantly looking for something else to help. And it was always that Band-Aid, never finding the root. And before, I never knew why I was getting them. I'm like, oh, what did I do? You know, I'm like, I couldn't, I'm like, oh, just another one today. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But now when I get one, I'm like, oh, know exactly what I did wrong. Or why I may have one. Like, that's on you, Shelly. Take full credit on those. But no, I just feel tremendous. Like, just my whole body. I mean, I am eating healthier, and I'm taking care of myself for the first time in 30 years.
I love that. I love that. And I think the key thing that you learned from the program, and you mentioned this before we got on the call, was you can hear your body now. You know, you can hear your body talking to you and telling you when something is wrong or when something's about to be wrong, so that you can course correct instead of waiting until this disaster happens and your body just is yelling at you all the time going, all right, here's another migraine. You didn't listen. I'll give you another one.
Exactly. I mean, I know now that I know my programs, I'm like, oh my God, they were yelling at me all these times. I mean, I had them. I just didn't know that's what it was. And nor did I listen to it. But I
didn't listen to you for 10 years, Shelly.
But I am so in tune to my body now. I'm like, oh, yeah. So yeah, that alone is just great. I'm so grateful.
And that'll help you in so many ways, not just migraines, you know, but in all areas of health, to be able to catch a cold sooner, or, you know, it's not that it'll necessarily prevent a cold, because if someone's, you know, you're in a classroom with first grade students.
Yes, I am.
So let's face it. But if you can kind of start feeling those symptoms, which I'm sure you do right now, you feel the littlest thing, you can react so much quicker and probably knock the severity and duration of that cold down more so than you ever would have been able to 10 years ago.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. I love the bonuses. I love when there's bonuses along.
I know.
Oh, Shelly, you've got a bunch of people watching. You've got Candace watching, and Karen watching, and Jamie and Judy and Catherine and Michelle. Oh my goodness. I'm glad we came on at this time. You never know this time of night how it's going to pan out, but I suppose we have so many different time zones that everybody's jumping on. So ladies, let us know as we finish up and wrap up here. If you have any questions for Shelly, please pop them in the chat. Let me know. And if you're watching this on the replay, please still tag us and still drop your questions in the chat, because we'll keep an eye on this post for quite a while. Well, while they're doing that, Shelly, you have any last words of wisdom for these wonderful ladies out there that are watching, that are in your, you know, your shoes where you were 6 months ago? What do we have to say to them today?
Don't wait. Just take the plunge. You will not regret it. One thing that I was also, Debbie, when through the program, I always would get my migraines on the weekend, which I thought was the strangest thing. And even my doctor was like, well, that is so weird. And one of the modules that Debbie, you talked through, was why I would get those on the weekends, because I'm a goer. I'm in the classroom, any teachers, nurses, anyone actually, and, you know, it's like people that just are on the go. That was my normal, was to be busy and going all the time throughout the week. Well, then Saturday would come and I'm like, oh, I can finally relax. I'm like, whew, my head did not know what to do with that. So through the program, I also learned just like, I have to take time throughout my day to stop and breathe and maybe do some yoga stretches. And I've just incorporated it into my classroom. So we do yoga stretches and meditating 5 to 10 minutes every day with my students.
I
So I tell them, like, I got to do
that.
this. I have to do this. So you guys are doing it with me. And so it's just part of our routine now, I switch it up and we try to make it fun as well, but it's good for them too. They need to regulate their bodies as well. So that was just another really important thing to just, keep yourself regulated that way, by meditating and yoga and just calming yourself throughout the week. So your body's not so it's not a foreign thing to them or foreign thing when you come on Saturday and you're like, oh, relaxation, I don't know what this is. So that has helped a ton. So preventing them from the weekend. So I appreciate that.
You were the queen of the letdown migraines.
Yes. And I didn't know that's what it was.
Yeah, you were definitely the queen. I don't think we've had anybody that's had it as much as you did, and you hit the nail right on the head. You are a carer. That's what I call them. Someone who is constantly caring for other people and constantly putting other people before themselves. And I'm sorry, teachers, doctors, nurses, all those, and even moms, grandmas, we all do it, right? We are down at the bottom of the totem pole. Everyone else is up here. And it's very hard to switch that. It really is. But I think the key thing, like you just said, is it doesn't have to be huge things. No. Like, we're not saying you don't care about your first grade students. We're not saying you don't care about your 2 grown kids and your husband. We're just saying that Shelly's got to find time for Shelly every day, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or maybe some days it is 24 hours that you're like, see ya, I am out of here. I'm going to the spa and shopping and I'll see you later.
In my dreams.
Whatever you got to do there. But,
exactly.
Sometimes that, like this tomorrow, I am, taking a few hours and I'm going to be at the salon. And then Friday, I'm going to go see Van Gogh. And Sunday I'm doing something with family. I'm like, it has been a while of me working, a couple of weeks straight. And now I know I need that time. And I think that if women in this group can do that a little bit more, every day, and realize that again, it's like so cliche that we say this, but it's the oxygen mask on the plane, right?
Exactly.
There's no better way to describe it, but I'm like, I need to come up with a better analogy, but that really is the best one. It really is.
It is. Well, we can't do a good job taking care of everybody else until we take care of ourselves. And it's, for some of us, it takes us longer to figure that part out. But yeah, I would suggest not to wait because you're going to do a better job once you're healthy and taking care of yourself. You can give more. Yeah.
Which is what we want to do, right? We want to keep giving and giving. So if we want to do that, we have to fill our cup first.
Exactly.
And look at you, you've done that. You jumped on this call today. When you first jumped on it, you were just smiling and happy. It was just so great to see. It's so great to see.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much for everything. This program has taught me a lot, a ton. So don't hesitate. If you are listening, don't hesitate. It's worth the investment.
Well, thank you, Shelly. And thank you so much for your time tonight. And thank you everyone who is out there watching. A couple more people actually just popped on, Sharon and Kim. So you have quite the little fan club out there. So ladies, if you have any questions, go ahead and pop them in. We're going to end for this evening to honor everyone's time. But I really appreciate Shelly. I appreciate you being here. Ladies, I appreciate you being here. And make sure that you join us next week. We have a crazy busy interview week next week. So just really quick, on Tuesday, the 22nd, Jane Corner is joining us. She is actually a hypnotist who is going to explain to us how hypnosis can actually be really beneficial when we are working on managing and ending our pain. She's going to be with us Tuesday. And then Friday, we have Heather, who's also a graduate of the Freedom from Migraine Method. And Saturday, Leanne, who's a graduate, who's going to come on and share their experiences with us. So I'm going to have fun on Zoom next week. I'm so excited. All right, ladies, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We will see you in the group, and here's to your migraine-free day, everybody. Bye-bye.